Terrible story. The guy on the left, one of the boys from Brazil, Gil de Ferran, Formula One star, won the Indy 500, three-time points champion, passed away while sitting on a pit wall in Florida, watching his son test in one of the Indy car minor systems, learning how to drive. He was 53, had a heart attack, died.
Really?
And he was one of the boys from Brazil that came from F1, Emerson Fittipaldi, Elio Castroneves, Roberto Guerrero. They were all the boys from Brazil. Really fine gentlemen. I interviewed him a couple of times, just stoic, smart, had a really nice career jumping from there to IndyCar. The other one is one of the real good old boys. We're talking about NASCAR back in the day. We're talking about Cale Yarborough. He was a superstar in the 50s and 60s before the arrival of Richard Petty. And he's from South Carolina. He was, backwoods guy, became a star driver, then became an owner. He made NASCAR an event on TV. I'm trying to remember the year this happened. I've seen the video clips. It's hilarious. It was in the middle of winter at Daytona. It was the first national telecast of a NASCAR race. First time ever. Raging blizzards around the country. So everybody's stuck at home. So he's racing to win at Daytona against Donnie Allison. And they're swapping paint and they crash on the final lap and both skid into the infield. And they get out of their cars and start throwing punches at each other right there on network TV. And then Davey Allison, Donnie's brother from the Alabama gang, he stops his car and he jumps third man in to the fight. That's the most hilarious thing you ever see. But that's what NASCAR was, quote, back in the day. But he won 4 Daytona 500s. He won 5 Southern 500s at his home track, Darlington, which was a legendary small track. And then he woke up one morning and said, I've accomplished it. He walked away, went on TV, became a TV analyst, and then he became a car owner and was very successful. He was a good old boy. So if you follow auto racing, we mourn the nice guy de Ferran, and we mourn the good old boy Cale Yarborough.
Did Cale Yarborough race in Indy, or was he exclusively NASCAR?
He was strictly good old boy.
Okay, and did he have a brother, or am I getting that confused with the Unsers?
The Unsers were obviously, there's 3 Unsers, the Andrettis. Those are all the quote first families of racing. But no, I don't think Cale had a brother. There was another Yarborough, but I think it came from a different family.
Okay, fair enough. But these are legends.
Oh,
I mean, especially Yarborough. I remember as a kid, his name being frequently discussed in the 1970s.
You have a lot of spare time on your hands, so why don't you just YouTube, Google Cale Yarborough Daytona 500 fight? You won't believe it.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that one.
Okay, so we've completed everything on our Tuesday bonus podcast.